If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Challenges is a 2024 American romantic sports drama film directed by Luca Guadagnino, from a screenplay by Justin Kuritzkes, and stars Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Faist. In the film, struggling former tennis champion Art Donaldson, played by Faist, plots a comeback with the help of his wife and coach, Tashi Duncan, played by Zendaya, and finds himself facing off against Patrick Zweig, played by O'Connor, his former best friend, and Tashi's ex-boyfriend. Kuritzkes' screenplay was acquired in February 2022, with Guadagnino and the main cast hired shortly thereafter. The leads trained for months with former tennis player and coach Brad Gilbert to prepare for their roles respectively. Principal photography began that May and lasted until June, with filming primarily taking place in Boston. Sayambo Mukdiprom, who had previously worked with Guadagnino on Call Me By Your Name, released in 2017, and Surprizia, released in 2018, served as the film's cinematographer. Delayed from its initial September 2023 release in response to the actor strike, Challenges premiered in Sydney, Australia on March 26, 2024, and was theatrically released in the United States on Amazon MGM Studios 1 month later. The film received positive reviews from critics and done well at the box office. The script landed on the blacklist, the annual list of best unproduced scripts in Hollywood, in December 2021. In February 2022 it was announced that Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer had landed the film and that Luca Guadagnino would be directing. Zendaya would also serve as a producer on the film, as well as being its lead star. In a 2022 interview with Collider, Guadagnino cited Kuritzkes' screenplay, Amy Pascal, and Zendaya as inspirations for making the film. As mentioned earlier, principal photography took place in Boston, where a casting call took place for local residents to audition to play tennis players, general extras, and stand-ins. In preparation for their roles, Zendaya, Faist, and O'Connor spent 3 months training with pro tennis player turned coach Brad Gilbert. Gilbert would also be a consultant on the film. Filming would occur in and around Back Bay and East Boston neighborhoods. Guadagnino visited Zendaya on the set of June Part 2 in order to complete automated dialogue replacement, better known as ADR, which is the process of re-recording dialogue by the original actor after the filming process to improve audio quality or make changes to the originally scripted dialogue. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross composed the film's score, having previously worked with Guadagnino on his 2022 film Bones and All. Trent Reznor is primarily known as the lead vocalist and principal songwriter for the industrial rock band 9 Inch Nails. Some fun trivia notes. Patrick taking a bite of a Cheerio and letting Art take one was unscripted. Josh O'Connor was starving at the time and it was his first time he had ever had Cheerios. The new Rochelle umpire is played by Darnell Appling, an assistant to Zendaya. To prepare for his role, Appling took professional umpire lessons. Austin Butler and Timothée Chalamet were considered for the role of Art Donaldson before Mike Faist was cast. Ironically, they would both act alongside Zendaya in June Part 2. Though the tennis match in the modern day takes place in one afternoon, it was filmed across 3 weeks, at all times of the day, in full sun and under clouds, with temperatures ranging from the 40s to the 90s in Fahrenheit, or from 4 degrees to 32 degrees in Celsius. There was even one day a mass pollen release by some nearby trees that tinted the whole set and all of the people on it yellow, which wasn't removed until rain fell over the next few days of filming. The first names of Art, Tashi, and Patrick in an acronym spell ATP, a play on the Association of Tennis Professionals. Screenwriter Justin Kuritzkes is the husband of Celine Song, who wrote and directed Past Lives. Zendaya would speak to the intimacy coordinator that was on hand during filming. She would say, "It was fantastic and very helpful because it was important that we all felt safe." Austin Abrams, Jacob Elordi, and Dominic Fike were considered for the role of Patrick Zweig before Josh O'Connor was finally cast. Lily, Tashi's daughter in the film, mentions the Spider-Verse movie. Zendaya co-starred in 3 Spider-Man movies. Nika King and Matthew McFadden were also considered for undisclosed roles. During the final that is being played in present time, Art Donaldson is wearing a Uniqlo apparel and the Rogers Centre court from On Running. Both these brands have tennis legend and widely considered the greatest tennis player of all time, Roger Federer, as their brand ambassador. The shoes belong to the Roger line, which happens to be co-designed by Roger himself. The film's April 26, 2024 release date in the United States happened 9 days after the 100th anniversary of the founding of the film studio, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, on April 17, 1924. When the flashback to the 8 years prior happens, one can see the posters for the Atlanta tournament as dated 2011. If one passed from that year, the match in the present time was in 2019, and 13 years prior in the junior tournament, it would have been around 2006. According to multiple reports, Challenges was the only film pulled from the 2023 Fall Festival circuit due to the SAG-AFTRA strike. Now, I found this to be an engaging, fascinating, incredibly creative and unique piece of filmmaking. I had no real idea about the film except that it starred Zendaya. Zendaya is a huge star, and I think in many ways misunderstood. She's actually a truly excellent actress, particularly if you watch her in Euphoria, where she really shows her capabilities. But more people will probably know her for her role as Mary Jane in the Spider-Man series, and of course now for her role in both the Dune films. This, however, is a role that Zendaya can really sink her teeth into, and she plays it expertly, playing an almost sort of femme fatale in this dynamic trio as she controls these two men and uses them at her will. Tennis is now the backdrop to this film's sexy, sensual, and kinetic, passion-filled romp, as this trio try and find their way around being young people in the ever-evolving world of professional sports. Mike Faist, who's primarily known as a stage musical actor and of course was last seen in West Side Story, turns out an excellent performance here as Art Donaldson. Initially, when you see Art and Patrick as young men, they both have a fantastic rapport with each other, are innocent, naive, and just want to play tennis and have fun. Then of course enters Tashi Duncan, who basically ruins these two boys' friendship. She of course chooses Art to become her husband and to be his coach, and she almost lives vicariously through him after a horrible injury ruins her own career. By the end of the film, Art is seemingly jaded, tired, and had enough of his tennis career. He's lost the glint in his eye and the boyish-like charm he had at the start of the film, and it's superbly brought forth here by Mike Faist. Josh O'Connor also turns out an excellent performance here as the more laid-back Patrick Zweig, who has probably more talent than Art, but is not prepared to work as hard. Tashi initially chooses him as her respective suitor, but Patrick isn't just going to be her fanboy and do everything at her whim. This leads the two to clash, and soon she realizes that Art will be easier to control, and therefore she starts a relationship with him. The dynamic between the three leads is absolutely excellent, and the chemistry as well just works so perfectly. I love the intricate, modern and interesting shots used while we watch the tennis matches on screen. I found the film to be incredibly innovative, creative and quite groundbreaking in many ways. And when I realized that Luca Guadagnino had of course directed Call Me By Your Name in 2017, well, I could see why this film is so unique and different. This is a film on the outset that almost seems just like a sort of teen romp. Could be seen as an edgy rom-com. But instead here we get a very unique piece of filmmaking, challenging its audience with fantastical visuals. Some extremely drawn out and over-exaggerated scenes, yet they work so well. Not to mention the fantastic soundtrack from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Look, these two men make very industrial electronic sounding music. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and in many ways this could have been overbearing in a film like this, but for some reason it just adds another layer and another character to the film. From its excellent acting performances, striking visuals, original concept and screenplay, excellent directing, superb cinematography, and fantastic soundtrack, Challengers is a film that really punches above its weight. Challengers gets a 9.5 out of 10.